Coming up on this Monday edition of Philadelphia Eagles Now, my name is Chase Sr. I'm glad that all of you are hanging out here with us, and thank you so much for supporting the show. The Eagles have signed a wide receiver and kick returner. It's a smart move, and I'm going to explain why. Who called the second half plays for the Eagles yesterday against the Rams, and why did the offense get going? We have an answer to that. Where does this win against the Rams rank among some of the craziest regular season wins all time in the history of this Eagles franchise? And we have some Eagles Buccaneers insight. The Birds are 3-0. The Bucs are 3-0. That matchup coming up on Sunday. Before we get to all of that, can we get the channel to 130,000 subscribers today? The haters will say we can't do it. Cowboys fans will say it's impossible. Well, they're not used to winning. We're used to winning here on Eagles Now, and we're 384 people away from 130K. If you want Eagles coverage every single day year-round that is informative, insightful, thought-provoking, where you have a voice, join the movement, lock us in, hit that sub button, and let's get to that new milestone here today. All right, new Eagles roster move here today. They have released offensive lineman Kenyon Green. What an Eagles career he's had since the Eagles traded for him after they sent C.J. Gardner-Johnson to the Houston Texans. And the corresponding roster move for Philadelphia, they have claimed former Jets and Giants wide receiver and kick returner Xavier Gipson off of waivers. Now, as we know against the Rams, if you watch that game, especially if you were hanging out here with us live on Eagles Now, it was dumbfounding. It was crazy that the Eagles could not field a kickoff. Joshua Carty was kicking these low line drive knuckleball kicks. And whether it was Tank Bigsby back there, whether it was John Mechie, who had never had kickoff return experience back there fielding those kicks, nobody could figure out that line drive knuckleball from Carty. And so because of that, the Eagles starting field position was around the 15-yard line all throughout the game. They were backing themselves up and making the job more difficult for the offense because of the starting position on the field. Also yesterday, Darius Cooper, one of the training camp and preseason stars, one of the best storylines across the NFL, who was a UDFA out of Tarleton State, one of the best wide receivers in FCS football last year, cracked this Eagles 53 on the initial 53 because of a great training camp and awesome preseason, injured his shoulder. So if he's banged up, the Eagles were using him as a potential kickoff returner. He has some special teams ability. If he misses some extended time, that could also help Xavier Gipson see the field. But obviously that corresponding roster move, Kenyon Green let go, Gipson brought in. And so that's the move on the 53. And I imagine that Gipson is going to get some kickoff return opportunities as early as Sunday's game against Tampa Bay. A lot of people might remember him famously when Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles in his first game with the Jets a couple of years ago going into 2023. Gipson had the game winner against the Buffalo Bills in that game in primetime, and it was a pretty electrifying moment at MetLife Stadium in the Meadowlands in New Jersey. More on Gipson as a player, smaller. And when he has played wide receiver, you're not going to see him line up on the outside. You'll see him solely play out of the slot. Why? He's a shorter, shiftier type of wideout who played his college football at Stephen F. Austin, the same school that Jeremiah Trotter Sr. attended. 5'9", 189 pounds. He was with the Jets 2023 through 2025. Most recently with the New York Giants. He was let go just a couple of days ago, most recently in his career. 27 catches, so he has been used as a wideout from time to time. 268 yards. He has 3 total touchdowns. That one return for a touchdown that I just mentioned also has a receiving touchdown and a rushing touchdown. So when he's used on offense out of the slot and as a little bit of a gadget guy because of that shiftiness and that short area wiggle. I think this is a smart move for the Eagles. The kick return game all year hasn't been great. The Eagles have been trying to find answers there. And on Sunday, that was embarrassing. That was a joke. Nick Sirianni even addressed that this afternoon in saying that is on me. We have to figure out a way to clean things up. Yesterday was anything but clean, and it nearly cost Philadelphia. The offense was struggling, and then to make matters worse, they were in the shadows of their own goal line and their own goalpost because they couldn't field a kick. Now, this is a little bit of a strategy that we're seeing across the NFL with these new kickoff rules, that these kickers are coming up with these new types of kicks that are very difficult to return. But I mean, yesterday was an unmitigated disaster. And another talking point here with Howie making this move, I mean, does Howie just get bored? It's quite hilarious at this point. We're having this conversation inside the bullpen here at the Chat Sports Studios. He traded for Tank Bigsby, traded for John Mechie, tried them out as returners. It clearly didn't work. Now he's bringing in Xavier Gipson, traded for Fred Johnson. That ended up paying off big for Philadelphia because he filled in for Matt Pryor once Lane Johnson was out, and he played really well. I mean, you just got to love how Howie Roseman never sleeps. He's always thinking about trying to find ways to improve his football team, and this is another way to try to improve this Eagles roster. All right, to topic number 2 here. A big question from Sunday's game. The Eagles' offense in the second half was on fire. The Eagles' offense up until that point, the first 2.5 games, not good. Who called plays in the second half? Because Jalen Hurts looked like a completely different quarterback from half 1 to half 2. 16 to 22 after recess, 204 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, and a rating of 140.9. That's what an MVP looks like, and he has become the most clutch quarterback in the NFL. Nick Sirianni was asked about this afternoon on Monday, September 22nd, in the aftermath of that crazy Rams win, and he said, Kevin Patullo called the plays yesterday in the second half, but make no mistake, Jalen communicates. Jalen sees the field really, really well, because there's been a rumor that it was Jalen Hurts calling the plays after halftime. I think it was Kevin Patullo because there's literally nobody else on the offensive coaching staff, including Nick Sirianni, that I think could actually be ready to call the plays in a moment like that. But with what we saw from that Eagles offense in the second half against the Rams, that's the offense that I want to see for the rest of the year. Being aggressive, playing to win, not playing to be too conservative, and be aggressive in pushing the ball downfield and force the defense to cover every blade of grass, vertically and from sideline to sideline. And I love what A.J. Brown said after the game. Me personally, I truly believe we've got so many good players on this team, and at times you can feel like we're being conservative, and I don't think it should be like that. Let your killers do their thing, play fast, play aggressive. Not saying that we haven't been, but me personally, that's what I would like. AJ, you speak for the entire city of Philadelphia. Jalen Hurts after the game. And I think both of these things are directed toward the coaching staff. We've played so many styles of football where in that first half, we've got to get out of this, playing not to lose. We've got to come out aggressive and play our game. You saw our game in the second half. And that's the game that we want to see for the rest of the year. And there's no excuse for why the Eagles can't do that. With Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, and the Eagles offensive line, which is really good. They just haven't played really well to start the year. Today's poll question is this, and I'm going to put you to the test here. A lot of people who you can choose from. Who was the MVP of the Eagles win against the Rams? Let me know down in the comment section here. All right, still to come here on Eagles Now. Topic number 1, Eagles signed a wide receiver and a returner. Who called the second half plays? We checked those boxes, right? Where does this Rams win rank among the craziest, most improbable for regular season wins in franchise history? And we have some very valuable Eagles-Buccaneers insight that you don't want to miss. Before we do that, let's give a shout out to our sponsor, Brunt, for making today's Philadelphia Eagles Now possible. And for my friends who watch this show, who grew up with me in Westchester, Pennsylvania, went to Bayard Rustin High School, they know that my favorite class in high school was woodshop. My favorite job growing up, working maintenance at Hershey's Mill Golf Course, where I would cut greens, cut tee boxes and approaches. I love tough jobs, but you don't want long days to be longer with bad work boots. That's why I love these Brunt work boots. and they have changed my life when I want to get gritty and do some hard work outside of hosting shows and talking football here at Chat Sports. You can see those products for yourself and get $10 off by using the code CHAT at bruntworkwear.com/chat. And let me tell you more about what they have to offer. Choosing work boots used to mean sacrificing comfort or durability. If they felt good, they did not last. And if they lasted, they wrecked your feet. Brunt thought that was BS. So they built tough boots that feel great from day one. No break-in, no sore feet, because people out there doing the real work shouldn't have to choose between comfort and durability. And the founder, Eric Gerard, great guy, grew up blue collar, started Brunt Workwear after his friends in the trades kept telling him, Eric, the big brands stopped listening. They haven't changed in 100 years. They had sold out to become fashion brands. So his buddies encouraged him to start a brand built for them. And that's why all Brunt products are named after the guys that he grew up with. Pretty awesome story right there. And Brunt stands behind what they make. You can wear them to work, and if they're not right for you, send them back. I don't know any other brand doing that. That's a company that believes in their product. And right now, for a limited time, our listeners, our viewers, get $10 off at Brunt when you use the code CHAT at checkout. And these boots are going to change your life, especially if you're working trade jobs. Brunt was tired of the workwear brands out there cutting corners. We work too hard to be stuck in uncomfortable boots that don't hold up. So Brunt built something better. Boots that are insanely comfortable, built for any job site. For a limited time, again, our listeners, our viewers, you get $10 off at Brunt when you use the code CHAT at checkout. Just head to bruntworkwear.com/chat, use that code CHAT, and you're good to go. After you order, they'll ask you where you heard about Brunt. Do us a favor and let them know it was from this show on Philadelphia Eagles. Now, all right, where does this Eagles win rank among the craziest regular season wins in the history of this franchise? If you watched the show last night, I did another video on top of our post-game show. My voice was hoarse. I had to take down some tea because I was really feeling it because of the roller coaster ride that we were on all throughout that afternoon and how that game wasn't probably topped off with this Jordan Davis blocked field goal return for a touchdown in which the big man ran up to speeds nearing 19 miles per hour. How the sideline reacted, how the fans reacted. It was pandemonium and craziness at Lincoln Financial Field. And I've never been a big win probability guy because in sports anything can happen and momentum is a real thing. But the Eagles' win probability was as low as 8.6% with 12:22 left in the third quarter when the Eagles were trailing 26-7. From that point on, they scored 26 unanswered points to win 33-26, and you see that chart, pretty crazy. And so I put together this list. I think it's a pretty good list to stand by. The craziest Eagles regular season wins ever. Miracle at the Meadowlands, number one in 1978. That was the Herm Edwards scoop and score fumble return for a touchdown. Miracle at the Meadowlands, number two, the Deshaun Jackson punt return for a touchdown in 2010. Now, some people will say there have been additional Miracle at the Meadowlands. I think truly there are two. Crazy games that were won by the Eagles at the Meadowlands, but these two certainly stand out. Then there was the Randall Cunningham miracle at RFK Stadium. And a little bit after he had become the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, the Eagles were down 20-0. And then Randall Cunningham accounted for 5 touchdowns to lead the Eagles to a victory in 1989. The Jordan Davis block, I think, tops the Jake Elliott 61-yard field goal at the buzzer against the Giants in 2017, just because of how the Eagles were able to come back. Down 26-9, 26 unanswered, and they did it against a Rams team that I think is one of the best teams in the NFL. So I'm going to go Jordan Davis block at number 4, and then the Jake Elliott field goal at number 5. What do you think? Do you have a game that you would include? As always, you can let me know down in the comment section. As for some Eagles Buccaneers insight here, John Clark, Johnny Airport, NBC Sports Philadelphia, with a report here that is pretty interesting here. He is told that the Eagles are changing their travel schedule to Tampa this year. They're going to go a day ahead of schedule on Friday in order to acclimate with the heat. The Eagles then may have a workout in Tampa on Saturday. As we know, this time of year, it can get very hot and humid in Tampa. And for a team from the Northeast, dealing with those types of temperatures, really difficult. You also have some of the humidity that is still in effect as well. And so it makes for a very difficult place to play. I'm looking at the weather right now in Tampa, and obviously things can change. High of 85, low of 74 on Sunday. Chance of precipitation, 45%. It's Florida, so there's always a chance of rain. And the temperature range will feel like 77 to 88. It will feel warmer than the actual temperature. I would say, all things considered, that's best case scenario, because sometimes it can be 90, 95 and feel like well over 100 degrees. That heat is pretty doable with us not too far removed from it being warm in the Northeast. And there have been a lot of lows for the Eagles against the Buccaneers. They have not fared well against Tampa Bay. Only one win in their last 5. And last year in week 4, they lost embarrassingly 33-16 in Tampa. In the wild card round in the 2023 season, the calendar year 2024, that was when the Eagles lost 6 of 7 to end the year. They fell 32-9. So back-to-back drubbings. And then in September of 2023, the Eagles actually won 25-11 against the Buccaneers. But in the wild card round in 2022, so the 2021 season, first year with Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts together, that was the Tom Brady-led Bucs. Philadelphia lost 31-15. And then in Philadelphia, when Tom Brady was still the quarterback, October of 2021, the Eagles also lost 28-22. Antonio Brown was playing in that game. How quickly things can change. The Eagles are also 1-6 in their last 7 games against Tampa Bay, dating all the way back to 2015. If it feels as though the Eagles have played a lot in Tampa and against the Bucs in recent memory, as I just showed you and talked about, they have. Now, who you got in this game? PHI for the Eagles, TB for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I will preview this game tomorrow. It'll be up on the channel, so be on the lookout for that.